Nothing for that.
Okay. Thank you. Merci. Okay, welcome everybody. Sorry for this inconvenience. Welcome, Narcís. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Narcís Prat, well, he's an emeritus professor in ecology at the University of Barcelona. He's been studying aquatic ecosystems for more than 50 years. Correct me if I say something wrong, Narcís. And he was founder and first director of the Freshwater Ecology, Hydrology and Management Research Group. He has authored more than 300 articles on aquatic ecology, biodiversity, and water management. And for 10 years, he's been acting as an expert for the public prosecutor of environmental crimes with participation in more than 100 trials. And he's contributed to water management policies, serving as advisor of the Regional Ministry of Environment of Catalonia. And he's also been awarded with the third distinction of the University of Barcelona to the best dissemination activities. And well, he's still a very active researcher and an important critical voice regarding management policies. So thanks a lot, Narcís. The floor is yours.
Thank you for inviting me to CREAF and to Autonomous University. You hear me? Oh, yeah. It's a pleasure to be here after many years, I think. So this is a talk of actuality because we are in a drought. It's raining a little bit, but still we are in a drought situation. And the question is this, we are really in a moment in which the climate change is really acting and changing the resource of water, or is just a problem of management. So droughts are very often in Catalonia and Spain. So usually when begins the drought, we have many notices in the newspapers, and always is the same. Is a big notice, very important, and when it rains, it's finished. So this, for example, if you will see here the South Reservoir, and the official drought in Catalonia begins when the Church of South emerges from water. It's the best indicator. It's not any other indicator. So this is a comic from the 2008, and this is the situation. Oh, the drought is coming. Oh, we have problems. We have to do this and to do this and to do that. But when it rains, it's finished. So we forget the drought until the next one. This is the normal situation in Catalonia and many other places. So more scientifically, we have this meteorological drought, so which we are before the rainfall. So the rainfall in Catalonia is, until recently, meteorologists and climatologists say that there is no rain. It's differences, some years a little bit more, a little less, but the 22 was the worst year, and also the temperature is very high. So we have these two signals, precipitation and temperature, which suggests that perhaps we are crossing some limit, and climate change is really important. The hydrological drought is the consequences of the meteorological drought, and usually we have these changes. This is the drought of 2008. You see that there have been droughts in many other times. In 2008, we were very close to have water cuts. Now we have in the same situation than in 2008, at least some weeks ago. With these rains, the situation is more or less stable, but we don't know what is going to be in the future. Here is the comparison between 2008 and now. This is the situation in December 2007, and this is the situation in December 2022. You will see that this line is not straight, which indicates that between 2008 and now, something has passed, especially because some management measures that have made that this curve is going a little bit more. The situation is a little bit better, and this might be the different situations according to the rains. Usually, after 2 or 3 years, arrives a big storm, and the replenishes the reservoirs, and the drought is finished. But now this is still is not clear. So what is the cause of the climate change? So we have made, perhaps we have we take a look about which are the predictions of the climate change for the future in this region. Probably you know these predictions, in which the Mediterranean area will be the area in which will the precipitation is less. So some areas will be more precipitation. In fact, the precipitation in the future will be higher in the biosphere because more water vapor will be in the atmosphere. So, but in some regions, at least for this Mediterranean region, temperate regions, it seems that we have this tendency of lowering the precipitations will be consolidated in the future. Also, the increase in temperature, and the North Pole is increasing the temperature more than the rest of the globe, and this creates this classical situation of the jet stream and the Rossby waves, when the temperature is very different from the North Pole to the temperate zone, and the jet streams goes in this way. So we have these large differences. But in summer and now, the situation as the temperature of the pole is lower, is higher. Sorry, we have this situation, repeated situation, in which you have 1 week which is cold, the next week is a little bit warm, and so on. So the typical situation of summer has enlarged, and now is in the spring and even in winter, and this make also the provision of danas that we don't know in which place, but in Spain now there are some places in which they have already danas, with probably will be the next dana in Catalonia. We don't know which month will be, but probably will be the solution, the transitory solution for the drought. Also, we have these teleconnections. Teleconnections is very interesting thing, because these 3 years of drought in Catalonia has coincided with a strong Niña. And during the Niña, at least for the peninsula, the precipitation is going down. So this is coincident with these 3 last years in which the rainfall has been lower than the other times. And now has begun a Niño. And the Niño here, suppose that we will have higher precipitation, which is a little bit coincident with the weather in California that now is raining a lot. And it seems that what is occurring in California arrives to Europe after 3-4 months, in general. Of course, there are many other factors that might modify this situation. Also, the rainfall in a zone might change due to the temperature, because the temperature in altitude, the mean temperature is increasing. So when the water vapor goes to to the highest part of the atmosphere, the temperature is a little bit higher. So they don't condensate and then don't rain. So in many places, even in the Amazon, there is a large concentration of water vapor that in some meteorological situations, all this vapor is translated to other zones. And this creates, for example, bigger floods in Argentina. And it seems that in Europe, we have this situation of the condensation, transpiration, and transport of water. So some of the water of Europe is raining in other parts. All these characteristics are changing the precipitation. So as these characteristics might be additive or not, the situation might be a little bit different in some moments and other moments. Another important thing is that the temperature is increasing, so evapotranspiration is increasing. So in the Mediterranean forest, we have this. We have a big forest. Most of the water that the rainfall, some is infiltration, but in the soil is taken by the plants and is evapotranspirated. So in the Pyrenees, when the precipitation might be 1,000 or 1,500 millimeters, and the evapotranspiration is less than 2,000 millimeters, we get some runoff in some places close to 70%. But in the Mediterranean area, the runoff is very low because most of the water is evaporated. So only 10% of the water arrives to the streams. And this situation, as the temperature is increasing earlier now and is decreasing later, the vegetation transpirates most of the water. This has been corroborated in many studies in Catalonia, in which, for example, here they compare the landscape now and in the past, and most of the areas devoid of vegetation have had a very big afforestation. So the water transport, the water arriving to the end of the basin is going down and down and down. So, and this change in landscape is very important to understand the changes in the base flow of most of our rivers that is decreasing along the years. In the South Reservoir, for example, this is the entrance of South Reservoir. That is the water entering the South Reservoir. And we have here the tendency, the temperature is increasing, the runoff is decreasing. So the quantity of water for the same quantity of rainfall in the Ter basin, less water is arriving with the same rainfall. So this the resources are decreasing only with the increase of temperature, independently of the rainfall changes. So this this has been corroborated in several works. For example, this is the MEDAC project, with some people here has collaborated, and it's the same. You see the changes in the forest cover, and at the same time, which are the changes, the quantity of water that the river transport is even 20% less than some years ago. This is all the Mediterranean. So people like me that work in stream ecologies, we are very preoccupied like this because we lose our ecosystems of study. Also, the other effects of climate change is the ice extent. This is one of the few glaciers remaining in the south part of the Pyrenees, and you will see the changes from 1920 and recently. The small quantity of ice remains in summer, and it's probably will disappear in 10, 20 years. So the ice and the snow is just the water that is filling the reservoirs used for irrigation. So most of the irrigation reservoirs of the Ebro basin are losing, they don't receive water. But this fact has been ignored by the authorities. So in the Ebro management plan, now the Ebro management plan now is proposing to increase the irrigation fields. So more irrigation fields, because they take the hydrological series the most longer. So they made the mean using the data from the 70s and 80s. So then they get a mean and say, oh, okay, the river has a lot of water. But if you take the series of the last 50 years, this is going down. And just I have seen a picture a few years ago in which the Ebro Confederation, the managers of the Ebro, recognized the situation. And this is the work making Instituto Pirenaico de Ecología is the same. This is the snow accumulation. The glaciers in the Pyrenees will disappear. This is the snow depth, which is less and less. So all this situation indicates that the water quantity in our reservoirs will diminish, both for irrigation and also for the urban cycle. At the same time, you have these big floods like the Gloria we have in 2020, in which we will save plenty of water in very few hours, and this is at the extreme. So this is not new, because 25 years ago, this is going to. Some people has the microphone. Okay, that's okay. No, so this is not new. This is just what is not predicted 25 years ago. But the managers, political people, don't want to hear about this, and especially the farmers in the Ebro Delta have been also criticizing the scientists that say that this will be the future. Okay. Well, at the same for the aquifers, this is the aquifer of the Muga, and you see the levels. It's going down, down, and down, and this is the same situation in the coast. That means salinization of the wells. So that's all these circumstances indicates that in the future we will have less resources. The effect of afforestation, for example, is seen in most of our springs. That this is increased by the use of water, because in many sprawls, in many urbanization in the mountains, people take directly the water from the springs. So most of the springs are dry for two reasons: because the forest is using more water, and at the same time the water is taken by users, for farmers, for many other mechanisms. So one of the solutions, or the mitigations, is the management of forest. So this probably you know quite well this graph, this figure, in which they compare what is the water cycle in a forest, in an open area, and in an intermediate area. So in the intermediate area, we get rain. We have some evapotranspiration, some transpiration, some evapotranspiration than transpiration. We get less runoff, and we get more recharge of the aquifer. So one of the proposals for the future is to manage the forest in order to have more water in the rivers. Okay, what are the management trends, or which has been the management options in Catalonia in the last years? Well, Catalonia has two different basins, two different situations, hydrological situations. We have the internal area, in which we have plenty of people. We have many urban uses, industrial uses, and few use in agriculture. And the situation in the Ebro is just the contrary. Most of the water is used for irrigation and not for urban. So people from Lleida and people from Barcelona, when you say we have it's coming a drought, we will have problems. So people in Lleida, problems are problems for agriculture. People in Barcelona is from tap water. There's two different mentalities, two different situations. In the case of internal cuencas internas, the management is from ACA, that is from the Generalitat de Catalunya, and all the water cycle is managed by ACA. But in this area of the Ebro, the managing people is from Confederación Hidrográfica del Ebro. So Catalonia has only part of the managing facilities. So especially what is the water allocation for irrigation and for all uses is not in the hands of Catalonia government, but in the Confederación de Ebro. So that makes that most of the politicals that perhaps Catalonian government will implement in the Ebro region cannot be implemented because we depend from the rest of the basin. In general, we have plenty of alterations of water cycle. Used for ski, we have these small centrals, big reservoirs, use it for potabilization and for after for village and return to the river. So part of this water is returning. And remember that in the urban cycle, most of the water is used for the cities and returned to the river, a little bit polluted, and less is evapotranspirated. When used in the fields, we have just the contrary situation. Most is evapotranspirated, very few is returned to the river. So this is the big difference between internal basins and the Ebro basin. In the coast, we have the possibility to use what this is the non-usual or non-conventional resources. This is desalination and water reuse. And this has been a matter of discussion the last weeks, because it's necessary to have a lot of desalination, less, more, or it's better to regenerate water. So we have two management options. The old management option is the increasing resources, more reservoirs, more water transfers, which is the classical solution that has been implemented in the last 100 years in Spain. The second situation is integrated water management, that here we call new water culture, and is based in the control of demand, the sustainable use of non-conventional resources, desalination, density, and very important, there is a European law, Water Framework Directive, which obliges to the European countries to have the rivers in good state. So we cannot make any change in the river flow or in the river quality that implies a lower quality of water. So this is very important because for ecological flows, because if you use a lot of water for irrigation, perhaps the ecological flows will be lower in the future. Also, economical efficiency and public participation. So that's the water framework directive has been really a revolution, at least in Spain, because all plants, for example, have any indication of biological quality. So in the 70s, 80s, when I have meetings with the water managers, and it says, I am very good in biological indicators. I have a method which is very good, and you have to use. And say they take the official papers. It's not in the void. It's not in the official bulletin. So we are not going to use. But in 2000, water framework directive changed, and the directive says, okay, you can manage the water as you interest. You can do what you think is important, but the rivers, the lakes, and the sea have to be in good state. So that is the reason, because most of our authorities are obligated to change, no? And this change has been very implemented at very low rates. So it have taken a lot of time from some parts of Spain to implement really the water framework. So in the water run cycle, in this resource control, we have this, the most important is to have a lot of water from reservoirs, from wells, any place. So we use the water. Normally we don't care about leaks, so most of the water is used and go to the river or to the sewage plant. All these savings of water or any other systems of water reuse are not contemplated in this model. This model today is very difficult because it's no more possible. In Catalonia, there is no places for river use. No places. All the reservoirs have been built, Susqueda, La Base, etc. So if you plant, you put say here in Aguadora, which is a small river here, which is a place where you can put still a big dam. So you get problems, many problems from the political issues, from the people, and you get demonstration and so on. So it's impossible today to build new reservoirs. So this is not possible. The second is the transfers. So this was in 2008. This was the big discussion. Why we can't transfer the water from the Ebro, from the Segre, or from the Rhone? And even the Segre transfer was planned. So it was a big issue in Lleida, because the people of Lleida, they always say that the people of Barcelona is colonizing Lleida, taking the water, taking the food, and they don't receive nothing. So if you try to take water from the Segre, from the Ebro, any part to Barcelona, you get a big demonstration. And the transfer of the Ebro to Tarragona is limited in the limits of Barcelona and Tarragona by law. So you cannot connect today the transfer of Tarragona to Barcelona because it's not possible. In 2008, it was an idea that came from a private company that convinced the vice president of government of Spain to build a transfer in the middle of the highway from Tarragona to Barcelona. So it was approved. So just came the water and then was not realized. But this is one option at this time. But this is an option that generates plenty of problems in the Ebro Delta. People of Ebro Delta have made many demonstrations against these transfers. And the Rhone, which is a basin that has the river, the discharge of river in the ocean is very high, but the farmers of the south France don't want this transfer because the farmers of area of Figueras, they get the fruits, the production of fruits before than the French. So if they increase the irrigation, so they increase the number of pears and apples produced, they compete with the French. So the French don't want this transfer. So this transfer is also not possible. So during this drought, we have practically this idea of transfers has disappeared. So no, it's not possible in the future. So we have this new water culture. So this situation, this integrated management was studied during 2004 and 2007. I was advisor of the Conseil since 2008, and this with the Fundación Nueva Cultura del Agua, especially this man, Antonio Esteban, we make a construction of an internal group in the Agencia Catalonia del Agua, and we take people from different areas to working groups. So the first time, in some moments, the people didn't know. So the people in the area of resources don't know the people that are in the quality. And sometimes the people are in the resources making the same that the people are in the quality, but they don't speak because the boss, they don't want this communication. So with using this system of making working groups, we provide an alternative model. This model was published also in English in some places. It is based in this one. So this model was began to implement in 2007, 2008, but in 2009 there is a change in the Generalitat. So the tripartito was out and entered Convergencia. In Convergencia, the main idea is to not implement this plan and go to the transfers again. But at this time, with the water framework directive, it was impossible because Europe don't accept plans in which you have transfers because they don't want to put money. In fact, in 2003, 2004, I was involved in meetings in Brussels in which the Spanish government and the Fundación, we were there discussing about the possibility of the transfer, and because money for this transfer has to come from the European Union. So, and at the end, with the discussion, arrives Mr. Zapatero to win the elections, and Mr. Zapatero says that no transfers. So it was the solution. So it's possible to have this alternative model. The alternative model is like this one: less water. So we use less water because we are just saving water with different mechanisms. We have regeneration, reuse. We have systems of reuse of water. So at the end, we use less water. The waste of water also diminish and also the leaks. So the idea is, if possible, with this model, to have a model of a urban cycle in the area of Barcelona without transfers and without any other action. So this is the facts. Since 2008 and now, you will see that then the quantity or the mean quantity of liters per person and day in Catalonia was going down. During the drought of 2006, 2008, people was very aware. There's plenty of campaigns in the newspapers and so on. So people began to make anything. When the people goes to the shower, they take the water of the shower in a place, and they use for plants. And still people are making this. So people is aware of the problems of knows the problems of the and after, even during the economic recuperation, this don't change very much. So we have had a very good response of the people and institutions for water savings. So even the population has increased an 8% in Catalonia, but the quantity of water used is 5% less now. During the drought of 2008, we arrived to 20% less. So this exit is you, people that live in Catalonia, that you made the work in your home. So congratulations to all. So for the future, the expectation of ACA is that with savings, the quantity of water in the Barcelona area, in the urban area of Barcelona, is not going to increase, even with some perspectives of people. If there is more, even there is more people. Now all Catalonia is in emergency. This is colors. So we are in a situation in which our reservoirs are just at minimal levels. If you look at the water we use in the past and now, you will see that in the past, most of the water is from reservoirs. This is the water from superficial water of the Llobregat. This is from aquifers, and this is the desalination. Here is 2020, but now we have to put here the regeneration. So we are substituting this water from reservoirs by saving and by using other resources and be more efficient in the use of the resources we have. This is the idea. This is the system of regeneration, reuse of regenerated waters in the Llobregat that is producing at these moments close to 1,500 liters per second. So the water is in the water plant. There is a regeneration plant. Water is transported up to the river and goes to the river, arrives to the plant. We take the water in some buoy and again to the wastewater and so on. So you can take a shower today and tomorrow take the shower with the same water. Apart of this plant. The idea is that this plant is using 50% of the water that the plant is putting in the sea. This plant is for 4,000 liters per second, so the possibility is 2,000. And also, this water can be used for the different situations, for irrigation, for maintenance flow or ecological flows, also for many other uses. So that this is this was planned in 2007-2008. It was built at this time, but during many years was not used because we have water in the reservoirs. But now is one of the important pieces to substitute this water coming from the reservoirs. So there is the ACA has made very interesting investigations about water quality, because one of the questions is, if you get this water here, which is the quality of the water? Perhaps in in the wastewater, we get many secondary products that can be toxic, that can make problems. So in this paper, we analyzed 300 pollutants, and only one is over the recommended concentration. So that we have a very good studies that provide us with the security that this water can be potabilized. So now the idea is possible this in other parts of Catalonia? The second non-conventional resource is desalination. So desalination, we have two plants, the Prat or Gloria, now, which is 60 and 20 cubic hectometers per year. The desalination plant, when the reservoirs were filled, they decided that this desalination plant has not to work because it's very expensive. So they can produce up to 200 cubic hectometers per year, but the maximum was here which was only 25. The maximum for all Catalonia is 53. So this facility has been there for many years, but does not use it. But at the same time, half of the water of Catalonia comes from the Ter River, this aqueduct. So the Ter River is losing a large quantity of water for Barcelona, and at the same time we have this desalination. The idea was to build this desalination plant, and the desalination plant works every day, always, and at the same time the transfer from Ter to Barcelona might be diminished to the 50%, but during 2009-2017, and you see here that during this time was the time in which convenes the politicals to have to implement another model, but in 2000 with the change of political people in Catalonia, there were no investments. So most of the works that we say we have to do this or this were not made because only in 2017 began to ACA has invested 450 euros during this time. So the potential reuse of Catalonia is very large because we have more than 500 sewage treatment plants. And this is a quantity of water, a very important quantity of water. But at the beginning, the recommendation is that we have to use the plants which are in the coast, because the water going to the sea is what we have to use. Because if you use the water, you reuse the water, the plants from the interior, the ecological flow of the river will be diminished. So the idea is just in the coast. So if you take in the coast, the seawater discharge is 270 cubic hectometers per year. It's the same that the new desalination plants that will be built in the future. So it's a big potential of regeneration of water, and has an advantage which is very local. So you have problems here. It's not need that you have a big desalination plant and take the tube, the water up and down. So this is now in a study in Besòs, for example. Now there is no reuse or very few reuse, and it have the plants if to use up to 800 liters per second. So this is one of the challenges of the manager of Catalonia for the future, to use this water, the desalination water, to substitute the water from the reservoirs. So this is the desalination plants compared with this. So with regeneration, we can get more water than with the new desalination plants. There are many other things to consider, but one of the important things is that if the population of Catalonia has to grow more or less, and where this population have to grow, and which is the impact of this urbanization on the ecosystems. So you will see here that this is the example of the Llobregat Delta. You will see 2000. This is the zone which is urban zone, and these are the natural zones, and you see the change here. But here is more clear. All these are impervious water, impervious areas. That means all the water coming here has to take to some other place. If not, you get inundation. All this area you see in green is the area that was inundated during the Gloria. And was inundated basically because most of the water coming from all these areas, as the water cannot go out because the sea is higher, when rains, most of the water is conducted to the tubes, but the tubes cannot take all the water. So in many places the tubes go out, and the inundation of the area was not due to the seawater, it was due to the water that cannot be conducted because this impervious area. And in the future, these are the new developments that most of these villages want to do in the future. More houses, more. So this, of course, will be a problem for this area. Here we have the La Ricarda lagoon, which is one of the areas of most biodiversity of the Vall d'Obregat is there. With Joan Pino, we make a work a few years ago. So, but most of the animals there, especially mammals, in order to get connection with the forest, should go to this way. So it's very difficult. If you close this area, you see this area is the only area that have some connection between the delta and the Garraf part. So if you close this area, you let this like an island. So probably the biodiversity will go down and down and down. This is a very interesting paper, very recent paper. So the next, sorry for the, sembla que estic passant una mica de temps. In the Ebro, what's the problem in the Ebro? The Ebro is a problem with the agriculture. Agriculture is one of the activities that change more the landscape. It's old picture of Margalef of the effects the transport, and all these transformations have as a very important external energy. So during this transformation, we put a lot of fossil fuels, so a lot of CO2. So it's the origin of the climate change and the problems of water we have. This is the situation of the agriculture. This intensive agriculture that use a lot of water, a lot of nutrients, and pollution, some production, and in most of these places, to produce 1 calorie of food, we use even 5 calories from fossil fuels. So this is a negative energy. system. Well, and this is the area used for agriculture in Catalonia. This is the total area, and this is the irrigation area. You see the irrigation fields are most in this area of the Ebro, and in the Ter we have very few land. The irrigation area is coincident with the erosion area. So most of the erosion in Catalonia is made in the irrigation area. So this is this impact. So it's not only water that comes to the river, or water and sediment. But this is not important. The important thing is what is the actual situation in the Ebro, in the Canal d'Urgell. This is the Canal d'Urgell system, all our fields. And these fields here are fields made by gravity irrigation. So they use between 8 and 10,000 cubic meters per hectare per year. So it's an intensive irrigation. I know this area here, this deep irrigation, water. And these are the area in which most of the fruit are located, because in these fields here, the main cultivation is maize for animal. And this is the Ambassador Real at this moment. This is a very big reservoir. When this reservoir was built in 1995, the idea is that it's a very big reservoir that when it's filled, never will be Canal d'Urgell will have problems. And even a new canal has been made. This is this area here. This is Canal Segarra-Garrigues with a very intensive agriculture. So it's supposed that with RIAB, the regulation will be excellent, and the farmers will not have no more problems. And this is the situation in RIAB. RIAB in the 2008 was very low. This is Oliana, and this is RIAB, and this is the total resources in the area. You see that during this period, no drought, we have these changes up and down, and this is the situation now. So just in 2-3 years, the situation is critical. At the same time, this is a block of Ignasi Segrià, which is an agronomist engineer that has a very interesting block following this. And this is also from this man that is a calculation of the water draining in the basin and the ice. And this is the situation year after year. And now, the last year, this is the precipitation, accumulation of water in the basin for uses in agriculture, and the ice. Down, down, down. This is the tendency. So the future of this irrigation area is with some uncertainty. What is the proposal? Only 50% of the Canal d'Urgell is modern irrigation. Most of it gravity irrigation. So the proposal is that if only 15% is deep irrigation, we transform all in deep irrigation, and this will solve the problem. So the proposal is more deep irrigation. But this is the experience of the modernization of agriculture in Spain. Experience is that when you make a modernization of irrigation, the river flow is diminishing 20–40%, because they take the same water. Theoretically, the quantity of water they use is less because it's deep irrigation, but with the rest of water, they produce new irrigation fields. So they don't return the water to the river. New irrigation fields. So then you get less water in the river. And this is, in the case of RIAB, Segarra-Garrigues and Canal d'Urgell, in RIAB, in summer, the normal year, 20 cubic meters per second is in the Canal d'Urgell. 20 cubic meters per second is the Segarra Garrigues, and 5 cubic meters per second in the river. So the river never will recover the good status, because in the river at least 15 cubic meters per second are needed. So this is the situation in Spain. Spain is making a lot of modern irrigation, but at the same time is destroying most of the rivers, because the river flows are diminishing. These, just for curiosity, are the money that ACA will invest in the future in rehabilitation, positive water, forest management, and research, and so on. Most of these investments are from ACA, but for modernization, this is not from ACA. It's from agriculture, and agriculture is in the same conselleria, but they don't speak much. And agriculture is only interested in promoting new irrigation, more water and more water. So we don't know what will be the future after these problems in the Canal d'Urgell this year. But it seems that the idea is we put a lot of money for modernization of this irrigation, but maize, you cannot irrigate maize in deep. So that's you will still a lot of water will be used. So in Catalonia, in my opinion, so much of the people in Catalonia that made mathematics are students of mine or friends, so that's I cannot be very critical with these people. So I think that the ACA is close to this idea of integrated water management system. So they are prepared and making a good job in general. And we have a technology and appropriate measures. The main problem is sociopolitical, because part of the society only reacts to drought when the drought came. Part of the society and the politicals the same. The politicals only react when the people say, the drought arrives, have to do something. And after, we have seen this year. Each party is saying, you are the problem, the other party. No, they are the problem because you said. So they just fight between them. And the water is not a matter of fighting. It's a matter of you have to be all people in the same direction. I mean, that is what I have not very clear from the future. So we will be in the future, and well, hopefully it rains a little bit in the future, because if not, we will get problems for this. So thank you very much, and I proceed to